Before we get to the movie review, Uncle Touchy? Oh my God.
You won't wear a shirt in Uncle Touchy's basement.
Oh my God, wow. That was funny. I never heard that before.
So a movie called Insidious, which we told you about weeks ago, if you are a regular listener of the show, a horror movie. On Dave's radar and my radar. Big giant on our radar. Dave saw it Saturday night. I saw it Sunday night. And the wait for me to see it was just crazy because Dave gave it a very glowing review.
I sure did. Before we get to our thoughts, why don't we play this clip? Basically sums up the movie.
Okay.
It won't play.
Okay.
Basically, the premise is a family of how many? 5, right?
A mother, the dad, the mom, 2 young boys, and a baby.
Right. One of the young boys slips into a coma, and they think their house is haunted.
They move into a new house.
Right.
And they think that the house is haunted.
And upon further investigation from a psychic, it turns out their son is the one that is haunted.
And that's not a major plot point we're revealing. It's very obvious from the beginning.
It's all over the place. Yeah.
And Dave told me on Saturday night, oh my God, wait till you see this one. And Dave, basically, the way I can describe this movie best is, from my opinion, is the beginning was weak to me because I don't like children in trouble, and they go off on that. I mean, it's very easy for me. I find it very manipulative when you take small children, especially babies, and put them in severe danger. So after getting over that uncomfortableness that I had with that part, I saw it with my friend Paul, and I turned to Paul 25 minutes into the movie. I'm like, I hate this movie. It's using cheapness. I can't believe I hate this movie. And he's like, all right, first of all, Glenn, and this is a conversation we're having as the movie is on, you're not a dad, you're a moviegoer. What, you didn't like The Exorcist? You didn't like The Omen? Because kids were in trouble? So, and I told Paul, too, I said, Dave warned me, just let the first half hour go by. Don't judge it too much. Don't get into it, right?
Right, exactly right.
And I hung on to it. And then the middle of the movie was friggin' fantastic, and then I hated the end. Now, we will not spoil anything for you, but Dave, I got to tell you, this movie, to me, when it worked, was terrifying.
Yeah, it was.
It had some big scares in it I didn't see coming.
I got scared at least 6 or 7 times so bad that my body actually tingled. I haven't experienced that type of scare since The Exorcist.
3 big scares for me, but what this movie did when it worked was set up mood. And
Brilliant.
And a lot of horror movies don't set up mood. And this movie, you're just like, oh dear God, if I were a girl, I probably wouldn't be looking at the screen right now. This is just so intense. But my other problem with this movie was, besides the beginning, which I thought was cheap, putting kids in trouble, was this movie could have ended perfectly. And they made that mistake, in my opinion, of the last 10 minutes where they could have ended it, and instead in the last 10 minutes they give you that typical Hollywood horror movie ending.
See, I disagree. I thought the ending where you're talking about I would have not liked the movie. And then it takes a left turn. And I was like, oh my God, this is awesome. To me, that was the perfect ending.
I wish that
you can't give it away because...
No, I know.
It's hard to explain it, but this left turn I think the movie takes at the end makes it that much better. To me, it puts it better than the movie Descent.
Yeah, Dave and
which is one of our favorite movies.
Dave and I, when it comes to horror movies, we like to compare it to the movie The Descent, which is like 4 years old now, with the women that go, into a cave exploring. It's their hobby. They do it well. And that movie sets up mood, character, and big scares in there. So we compare it to The Descent. Whenever Dave and I see a horror movie, is it anywhere close to The Descent?
Right.
Is the first words out of our mouth. And like they said, we're not going to spoil it for you. Off the air, I'm going to tell you how this movie should end, but I'm not going to say it here on the air. Dave, I can't give it more than a strong 3 stars, but I will say this, though. They don't make movies like this, horror movies like this, very often. I highly recommend it. I called people all night Saturday. I said, you got to go see this movie, because I've been disappointed time and time again with the hype surrounding horror movies that have come out in the past 5 years other than The Descent. Now, just let me get into where I was starting to get disappointed. We both do paranormal research in our free time,
And they tried to incorporate some of that into this movie. And once that started happening, I started getting soured.
Mm-hmm.
Because they were using equipment I thought was almost Tim Burton-like. And these guys that they have helping investigate were just goofy. They were like the Best Buy Geek Squad.
Yeah.
That really bothered me. And then I said, you know what? I'm not going to look at this as somebody who takes paranormal research seriously. I'm just going to let the movie take over. And that's what I did. And I enjoyed the child scares in the beginning. Being that I have a 1.5-year-old, I put myself in the position of this mom that's home alone during the day.
Mm-hmm.
I said, oh, my God. I actually got mad at her at one point. I said, that's not what I would have done to Michelle. And we started talking about it. Like, no, we would have handled it completely differently. So we enjoyed that.
The thing that I the thing that I liked the most was not the original scares, but the way people reacted was realistic. When things start happening in this house, and I'm not giving anything away, the wife is like, I want out of here right now. I don't care where we go.
Right.
I don't care what you say. This place is haunted.
And the husband is acting like a confused hero going, oh, my God, what the hell?
Uh-huh. And they reacted so much like real people. That's what I love the most about it. The other thing I love, when you talk about the scares in this movie, and there are plenty. Dave said 6. I counted 4. Big scares where you jump out of your seat. The thing is, they don't do those ones that horror movie fans like Dave and I know. Oh, as soon as they close that bathroom mirror, there'll be something there. It's not scares like that.
There's one scare that reminds me of what you're saying, but it's completely out of left field.
Uh-huh.
And that's the biggest scare in the movie, and I wish I could talk about it. As this movie is more popular and people have seen it, I want to talk about this one particular scene that made me jump out of my seat.
I think I know what scene you're talking about.
It scared the absolute hell out of me.
This guy, James Wan, is the director. And to show you, I don't remember new directors' names, but I remembered him because I really liked the movie. And he doesn't do the traditional thing. He makes you look one way, and no matter how much you try to prepare for it, it happens the other way.
Yes,
and I really
does.
like that. But I will tell you, this was also made by the one of the guys that did the original Saw. And if you remember the original Saw, that could have ended one way and ended another. And my big disappointment with this, and I'll tell you, my buddy Paul nailed this perfectly. He said they set it up for sequels, which they did.
I won't see a sequel.
They could have ended it in one spot, and instead they said, nah, let's make this a franchise. And, there's going to be another Insidious, and I agree with you, Dave. I'm not going to see it.
No, I won't see it. This movie was so enjoyable to me, I will never even take a chance on seeing a sequel and being disappointed.
It just, there's no other way to describe it. I hated the beginning, and I hated the ending, but the gooey middle was fantastic. Absolutely fantastic, and it's worth seeing.
There's one part I need to get to. You don't like the ending. If you're someone like me who enjoys going to spooky walks around Halloween, that's why I love the part you didn't like at the end.
Okay.
I felt like I was in the sickest spooky walk ever. I absolutely loved every second of it, and I was so engrossed in this part of the movie. I felt like I was there.
Okay.
I got to give this movie 4 horror film stars.
4. Okay.
So
it's a soft 4.
Yeah.
It's not Oscar worthy, but it's a soft 4 to you.
Yes, absolutely.
Completely satisfying in every way.
I would see this movie again. That's how much I enjoyed it.
Wow.
And there you go. There's our review of Insidious. We'll put this up at our website if you missed it.